Hi folks, Bob from Fusion Firearms again. Today we're going to go over frames and just the basics of frames, the different frames of the 1911. We get a lot of customers asking and inquiring about the different sizes and shapes and things of the frames and what can be used with a commander slide, what can be used with a 6-inch slide, a 5-inch slide, all those different facets of building your 1911. So, and there's a lot of misinformation out there on the web, so we want to clarify a bunch of things. And so we'll start with the government frame, okay? The government frame, this is a tactical version, and people say, okay, well, what's the difference between the tactical and a non-tactical? Basically, just your dust cover here, okay, which we consider this to be the front dust cover on the frame. And basically it's just made with so you can mount accessory rail items onto it, but other than that there is no real true differences. Once you go to a commander frame, okay, here's a commander frame, and there's a lot of misconceptions on commander frames. People think, oh, it's the same as a government, just the dust cover here is a little shorter. No, it's not, okay? And many even manufacturers make this mistake. We get guns in here all the time to rebuild and repair and to do other things with, and we see that the frames are using a government frame on a commander build, which is incorrect, okay? The commander frame will have the same exact size where your magazine goes in. It has the same exact grip size as a government frame, okay? But your rails will be shorter in the front here, about 93 thousandths shorter. The bulkhead down in here where the guide rod rests up above will also be shorter, the same about 93 thousandths, about 3/32 of an inch. That's the major differences, other than the dust cover again will be shorter because the slide is shorter obviously on a commander, and you'll want to match up your dust cover on the slide with the dust cover on the frame so it looks good. So those are just standard differences on the government and the commander frame. Now, what can you use on a government frame, okay, or a government bottom end? Well, you can use a 5-inch slide, you can use a 6-inch slide, and you can use a Fusion 7-inch slide. Those are all available for the 5-inch style frames. So if you want to go and you say you got a 5-inch gun, a standard government 5-inch gun, and you want to put a 6-inch slide on it, no problem. Your dust cover will be long enough to accommodate a 5, a 6, or a 7-inch slide. So those will all be going on to a 5-inch or a government style frame. Now the commander, what can you do on the commander? Well, the commander, again, you're going to be a little bit shorter. The slides are slightly shorter. There's a couple different variations out there of the commander. The commander should be basically 3/4 inches shorter than the 5-inch. Some people make a 4.1 or a 4.0 commander, which they're not really true commanders, but you'll get by. It's not going to hurt putting it on a standard commander frame or using a standard commander barrel or top end assembly. Now the commander itself, again, remember, you're going to have shorter dust cover to accommodate your slide. You're going to have a shorter rail system here and shorter bulkhead down in the bottom. All right. So that's, and what slides would you use on a commander? Of course, a commander slide, okay? And there's some variants of that depending on manufacturer. And also a officer's slide will work on a commander frame. So guys who want a short carry gun, all right, but they want a full-size frame because they have bigger hands and they like the grip of a full-size frame, we'll go with we call it an NCOM that we build, which will have a officer's top end and a commander bottom for the guys with bigger hands. I like that setup. The other frames that we will go into are going to be the officer style, which the officers will just be a smaller grip section here, okay? And again, they have pretty much a commander top here where the rail system is. The dust cover okay, will be a little shorter than the Commander generally. Again, that depends on manufacturer. Different manufacturers have different dust covers for the front of their slides. So again, what we normally do when we're doing a custom build, if it's not a production item, if it's a custom build, we actually will, once the slide's made, mill the dust cover to match the ball cut or the mono or whatever the customer wants. I guess that's another thing that covers monolithic frames. Monolithic frames or slab side or full rail frames. Those, again, no differences. It's just the way it looks, it's the style, and you use the same theory with Commander rail sizes and the government rail sizes depending on the type of build you're going to be doing. The other big mistake we see is people don't understand the difference between an officer's frame. They don't understand the difference between a Commander frame and a government frame, and they're getting their magazines mixed up. And again, this is crazy, and this is a little story I'll tell you, but I had a guy drive an hour and a half down here to tell us that he couldn't get magazines into his reaction. And when he got here, all the magazines that he brought were officers' mags, okay? Which are too short to catch in a government, so they're gonna fall right out. They will not catch the mag catch, okay? So watch what you're doing with magazines. I know it sounds simple, but it's not. We probably get one person a month that calls in and doesn't understand what he has for a frame. Oh, I want this mag well, or I need magazines, or I need this. And they don't even understand the differences between an officer's or a compact frame, officer's frame, and a government style frame or a Commander. Now, a Commander frame and a government frame will both take on the same magazine because they have the same exact grip. Even though the rail system is slightly different, the grip section here and where the magazine catch goes in is in the same location. So you will be using full-size mags, government magazines, 7, 8 round, or depending if it's a 9mm or a 40 or a 10, you might have a 8, 9, or 10 round mag. And they will all go in and lock into either both the government and the Commander frame. So just be aware of that. A lot of people think that the Commander frame, we get calls all the time that, oh, I have a Commander, I need a Commander magazine. No, you just need a regular magazine, regular government magazine. Now, when you come to the officers, of course, you're going to need the shorter magazines, okay? The officers' magazines. You'll need that to lock up properly and be able to fire the gun. Now, one other thing you can do, and I've seen people do this, is use government magazines in an officer's frame. Yes, you can. When you put them in and lock them up, they will hang off the bottom slightly, okay? So just be aware of that, but they will work. Okay, so it is something that you can use, you can try if that's what you like. I've seen some people with aftermarket magazines that are 10 rounds that are, even in a government, are hanging off 2 inches off the bottom of the gun. So again, that just depends on you and what you want. We'll go over some of the other issues with frames is material. What material do you want for a frame? Well, they're carbon steel, which most of them are 4140, or a composite at 4142. The others will be stainless steel. Most of the stainless steel will be 410 alloy stainless or 416 derivative. So there's a bunch of that. And why? Because you have to still heat treat the frame. You can't run them soft. So you need a 400 series stainless to be able to produce the frame. On the aluminums frames, many people, I like aluminum frames. Many people shy away from aluminum frames. They think, oh, they're weak. They're this guy. They're making guns out of plastic today. Okay, so these aluminum frames, I've been using them for probably 20 years or so, and they are rugged. Okay, they really are great for carry weapon. For target net, maybe, depends on really what you want to do, how many rounds you're going to be putting through it. Now, will the aluminum wear a little bit quicker than steel? Of course it will. That's normal. But for most people's application, and if you're looking for lightweight, the aluminum works out real well. The only thing I always suggest generally in an aluminum frame is that you cut it for a ramp barrel, okay? You'll see this frame here has been cut for a ramp barrel, and there's a couple different sizes. There are styles, if you want to call it the Wilson Nolan or the Para Clark style of ramp cuts. And these ramp cuts, what it does is the ramp will be integral to the barrel. And during this video, toward the end, we'll flash up some pictures of the different ramps of the barrel so you can see what it is. And this is something too, when you're ordering a frame, if you're ordering a replacement frame or you're ordering a frame for your next 1911 build, you can specify that we do that cut for you here before it leaves the factory. So be aware of that. You can just say, you know, when you do place your order, go to the frame selector and select the ramp cut that you desire. If you don't understand about the ramp cuts or any of these items, feel free to call in for our tech help, and you know, we can help you at any time. But the aluminum frames have really impressed me. When I first started using aluminum frames, I had a lot of questions about them, and because I've been a hardcore, you know, steel lover for years. But I really did have a good appreciation for the aluminum frames anymore, just because I've seen what they can do. I've had customers that I've built aluminum frame guns for years ago, and they're still shooting them, and they just, you know, we get nice reports from our customers all the time. So again, those are some of the basics on frames. If you have more questions, you know, you feel free to call us, our tech line, or email us off the website. But again, look at the basic items that, you know, a Commander and a government frame are pretty identical. And the grip area in that, you will have some differences in the rails and the dust cover, of course. But again, same mags, same lower end components. It's not like you've got a shorter mainspring housing or anything else. I guess that's another thing to talk about, mainspring housings. Mainspring housings, mag wells, carry cut mainspring housings. We can carry cut mainspring housing the Commander frames. We can carry cut mainspring housing the government frames. When it comes to the officers' frames, no. Okay, because you don't have enough room in here. Because again, this is another thing, we get people buying our mainspring housings and that all the time. They don't understand what frame they have, and they're ordering the wrong mainspring housing, magwell, carry cut, whatever. So again, the officers will have the smaller mainspring housing, and the government and Commander will have the standard 5-inch government mainspring housing, or magwell. So again, that's also an option for the carry cut. If it's something that you guys want put on the gun before it ships, or the frame, you can again select that, and we can actually have that all done and blended right in for you, dehorned at the bottom, for you ready to go for your build. So again, look at all those items, people, and you know, if you can, try to understand the magazine nomenclature, because we get so many people that, you know, they're trying to put a officer's magazine in a government, and yeah, it will not go in, okay? It will not lock in. And again, you'll end up with a government magazine, it'll lock in fine. So just look at those little tips. If anybody's got any more questions or anything on frames, we'll be moving on to some other good videos here coming up shortly. Give us a holler.